Well, the Stray Cats had to cancel some shows because Brian Setzer is dealing with a serious illness. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Setzer's name will always be synonymous with, of course, the Stray Cats, rockabilly, and giving everyone a little more swing. The cancellations are just two shows for now, October 25th in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and the 26th in Rockford, Illinois. Setzer wrote, I'm heartbroken to share, due to serious illness, I'm unable to perform and very regrettably have to cancel tonight's show. I know this affects so many people, and I am devastated to have to deliver the news. I've been trying to do everything I can to go on and do this show, but it's just not possible. I've been looking forward so much to being on stage with my bandmates and playing for all our amazing fans, and I'm gutted. Earlier this year, Brian had said he was dealing with an autoimmune disease, and that made it hard for him to play guitar. At that point, he said, towards the end of the Stray Cats tour, I noticed that my hands were cramping up. I've since discovered that I have an autoimmune disease. I cannot play guitar. And he continued, there is no pain, but it feels like I'm wearing a pair of gloves when I try to play. I have seen some progress in that I can hold a pen and tie my shoes. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I was at a point where I couldn't even do that. Luckily, I have the best hospital in the world just down the block. It's called the Mayo Clinic, and I know they can beat this. And while he's going through this, let's tip our hat to Brian Setzer, the man who brought rockabilly back. Before there was a retro revival in the 80s and 90s, there was a blonde guitarist with a Gretsch who made the old school cool again. Brian Setzer was born April 10th, 1959 in New York, and Setzer and the Stray Cats lit up MTV and brought back rockabilly. In the early 80s, the band that blended punk attitude with the 1950s swagger. Setzer's journey begins in the late 70s when he and bassist Lee Rocker and drummer Slim Jim Phantom headed to England. And that's where the rockabilly revival was starting. It was there that they broke through with hits like Rock This Town, Stray Cat Strut, and Runaway Boys. Their album Built for Speed in 1982 made them international stars. They kind of proved that stand-up bass and a pompadour could come back. But Brian Setzer wasn't one to stand still. After the Stray Cats split, he reinvented himself again in the 90s with the Brian Setzer Orchestra, a 17-piece big band that fused swing, jump blues, and rockabilly into something that was fresh and fiery. Remember 1998, Jump, Jive, and Wail? It won them a Grammy, along with awards for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group, with vocal and Best Pop Instrumental Performance for his guitar work. Setzer's trademark sound, that biting Gretsch tone and that slap-back echo, became his signature across decades of music. Whether fronting a big band or a lean three-piece, he always delivered showmanship, musical precision, and raw rock and roll energy. And he's a cool guy too. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where he's just riding his motorcycle, just hanging out, talking about rockabilly. We wish him a swift recovery. He's one of a kind. Did you ever see him, ever meet him, see any of the bands? We'd love your feedback. We always read all the comments. Remember, subscribe to our channel. Click that bell notification. It's very important so you don't miss any videos. Join our Facebook group. There's a link in the description. Everything's in the description. There's a link where you can join our Facebook group. It's called Rock History Music /book because we also have a channel called Rock History Book and another channel called Rock History Canada. But we get a lot of stuff that we put on there that we don't put on YouTube, and a lot of vertical videos, which I know a lot of you like. But comment on our videos, like our videos, and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music.